Picture a man walking alone through a forest at dusk, the air thick with the scent of pine and the bite of fading light. Shadows stretch long across the earth, twisting the familiar into something strange, almost alive. His boots crunch on fallen leaves, each step a quiet defiance against the silence pressing in around him. He's not lost, not in the way maps measure, but something within him stirs, restless, unsettled, like a bird trapped in a cage it can't see. Fear whispers at the edges of his mind. Doubt gnaws at his resolve, and the weight of yesterday clings like damp cloth to his skin. This is where we all stand at times, in the dim woods of our own souls, searching for a path through battles no one else can see. Battles that don't bleed but wound just the same. Stoicism doesn't promise to clear the trees or banish the dark. It hands us a lantern, faint but steady, and teaches us to walk anyway, not to escape the shadows, but to meet them with a heart unbroken and a mind clear. Today, we'll trace that path, exploring how to master life's unseen struggles, fear, doubt, anger, loss, shame, and despair, through the wisdom of the Stoics, finding not just survival, but a peace that endures. Let's step into this forest together, with open eyes and willing spirits. Fear is the first shadow we face, a phantom that looms larger in the mind than in the world. It's the cold sweat that beads on your brow at midnight, the racing pulse before a choice you can't unmake, the voice that hisses, "You'll fail, you'll fall, you're not enough." For some, it's the fear of death, a shadow that grows with every gray hair, every ache in the joints, every tick of the clock you can't stop. For others, it's smaller but no less sharp, the fear of speaking up, of being seen for who you are, of stepping into the unknown with no net to catch you. The Stoics knew this beast intimately, lived with it as we do. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And there's a bitter truth in that. Fear isn't the thing itself. It's the story we spin around it. Oh, a tale we tell ourselves until the weight buckles our knees and the air grows thin. Imagine him, our man in the forest, pausing at a river's edge. The water rushes dark and swift, a ribbon of black cutting through the earth, a barrier he must cross to keep going. His mind conjures a dozen endings. He slips on the slick stones. He drowns in the depths. The current sweeps him away to a place no one will find. His chest tightens. His hands tremble. His breath catches like a snagged thread. He could turn back, retreat to the familiar, let fear win. But then he stops. He breathes, slow and deep, the cold air grounding him. He asks, as Epictetus would, "What is in my control?" Not the river's speed, not the rocks hidden beneath the surface, not the chance of a storm upstream, but his next step, his grip on the branch beside him, his will to move forward despite the tremor in his legs. Stoicism doesn't erase fear. It shrinks it to its true size, strips it of its monstrous mask. The river isn't a demon. It's water, cold and deep, but crossable if he dares. He wades in, feels the chill bite his calves, the current tug at his knees. His heart pounds, but he keeps going. One step, then another, the water rising to his thighs, then his waist. Fear rides with him, a shadow on his shoulder, but it's a companion now, not a captor. He learns to feel it without feeding it, to hear its warnings without bowing to its threats. This is the Stoic way, to face fear not with bravado or denial, but with clarity, with a quiet none to its presence and a firm step past it. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The man doesn't need the river to slow or the night to brighten. He needs himself to stand firm, to trust the body that carries him, the mind that guides him. He reaches the far bank, dripping and alive, fear still there but powerless against his choice. Fear loses its grip when we stop wrestling it and start walking through it, when we see it not as a wall but as a gate we can open. Think of your own shadows, the job interview that knots your stomach, the call you avoid because it might bring bad news, the dream you bury because it might not work. What if you looked at them, not as giants towering over you, but as shadows cast by a candle you can snuff out with a single breath? The Stoic doesn't run from fear. He meets it, eye to eye, and finds the path still there, waiting beyond it. It's not about being fearless. It's about being more than your fear, about choosing to move when the easy thing is to freeze. The man in the forest teaches us this, his soaked boots leaving prints that say, "I was afraid, and I went anyway." Doubt follows close behind, a quieter foe but no less cunning, a thief that steals not with force but with whispers. It's the voice that questions every choice, every hope, every spark of light you dare to chase. It's the "what if I'm wrong" that echoes after you decide, the "who am I to try" that stalls a dream before it takes its first breath. Doubt doesn't shout. It murmurs, soft and insidious, planting seeds that grow into thickets of hesitation. Our man feels it now, the path splitting before him, left or right, each shrouded in mist, each a gamble with no promise of reward. He's walked miles through this forest, his legs heavy, his lungs burning, but doubt tells him he's gone nowhere, that every step was a mistake, that he'll wander forever in circles, a fool chasing his own tail. His shoulders sag, his pace slows, the lantern flickers in his hand. Stoicism meets doubt with a mirror, not a sword, reflecting it back so we can see its shape. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Doubt isn't the path's fault. It's the mind's lens, a fog we can pierce if we choose to look through it. The man stops again, sits on a mossy stone, the damp seeping through his clothes. He could sit here forever, paralyzed by the fork, waiting for a sign that won't come. But he thinks instead. He can't know which way is right. Not yet, not with the mist curling thick around him. But he can know this. He's here, alive, moving forward one step at a time. Doubt wants proof he can't have, certainty he can't grasp. Stoicism asks for trust he can give, trust in the act of choosing, in the strength that brought him this far. He recalls Seneca's words, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This moment, this fork in the path, isn't a trap to ensnare him. It's a forge to shape him, a chance to temper his resolve. He picks a path, not with certainty, not with a map in hand, but with resolve, with a quiet faith that motion beats stagnation. He rises, adjusts the lantern, and walks on. The mist doesn't lift, the way doesn't clear, but his stride steadies, his breath evens. Doubt thrives in the gaps we can't fill, the futures we can't see, the answers we can't force. The Stoic doesn't chase those answers. He builds faith, not in gods or fate or a perfect outcome, but in himself, in the simple, stubborn act of choosing and going on. Imagine a woman at her desk, pen hovering over a blank page, doubt whispering she'll never write anything worth reading, that her words will fall flat, that she's a fraud daring to dream. She hears it, feels the sting in her chest, the weight in her wrists. She could close the notebook, walk away, let doubt win. But she picks up Marcus Aurelius instead. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. She writes anyway. Not because she's sure it's brilliant, not because she knows it'll be read, but because it's hers to try. Because the act matters more than the outcome. Doubt lingers, a shadow at the edge of the page, but it's powerless against action, against the scratch of ink on paper. She teaches us, as the man does, that doubt is a question, not a verdict. Answer it with movement, and it fades like breath on glass, leaving only the path you've made. Anger rises next, a fire that flares hot and fast, burning paths we didn't mean to scorch, leaving ash where we meant to build. It's the clenched fist at a slight, the sharp words at a delay, the rage at a world that won't bend to our will. Our man feels it now, tripping over a root hidden in the dark, his knee slamming into the dirt with a jolt that rattles his teeth. Pain shoots up his leg, and anger follows, a blaze aimed at the forest. The root, himself for not seeing it. He curses under his breath, kicks the earth with his good leg, feels the heat flood his chest like molten iron. Anger is loud, alive, a beast that demands to be fed, that promises relief if you just let it roar. But Stoicism knows its game, knows its hollow core. Seneca warned, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. He sits there, breathing hard, the forest silent around him, the lantern casting jagged shadows on the trees. He could let it consume him, rage at the unfairness of the stumble, the darkness of the night, the ache in his bones. But what then? The root won't move, the pain won't vanish, the forest won't apologize. Stoicism offers a different fire. Reason, a flame that burns steady, not wild. He asks, why am I angry? The root didn't plot against him. It just is, a piece of the earth doing what roots do. The fall wasn't a betrayal, it was a misstep, a moment, not a conspiracy. Anger shrinks when he sees it clear, not as an enemy to fight, but as a signal to heed, a flare lighting up what he can change and what he can't. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." There's no one to revenge here, no villain to curse, just a root, just a night. But the lesson holds. He stands, brushes the dirt from his hands, wipes the sweat from his brow, and walks on. Not because he's calm yet, not because the fire's gone, but because he chooses not to be anger's prisoner, not to let it chain him to that spot. Anger's power lies in its heat, its urgency, its promise of control. But it's a hollow king, ruling nothing but chaos. Picture a father snapping at his child over a spilled cup, the red haze blinding him to the small, startled face staring back. Then he stops, feels the heat, remembers Epictetus. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. The spill is done. The cup is empty. His anger can't fill it. He kneels, softens, mends what he can with a quiet word, a hand on a shoulder. Anger doesn't win when we fight it head on. It wins when we feed it, when we let it burn unchecked. The Stoic lets it flare, lets it fade, turns away not with force but with patience, with a quiet step toward what's next. The man in the forest learns this, step by aching step, until the fire cools to embers he can tread past, until the night feels less like an enemy and more like a space to breathe. He carries the bruise, but not the blaze. Anger marks him, but it doesn't own him. Loss is the deepest cut, the shadow that doesn't fade with dawn, the wound that time touches but never fully heals. It's the empty chair at the table, the voice gone silent, the piece of yourself torn away and buried somewhere you can't reach. Our man feels it now, the forest thinning to reveal a clearing, a place he once knew, once shared, once held close. Memories flood in like a tide, laughter that rang through these trees, hands that held his through the dark, a life that slipped beyond his grasp, leaving only echoes. Loss isn't loud like anger, or sharp like fear. It's heavy, a weight that settles in the chest and stays, a stone you carry without choosing. The Stoics didn't dodge it, didn't pretend it away. They faced it square, eyes open, hearts raw. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have lived all this before. You will live it again. What difference does it make how long?" He stands there, the wind carrying those echoes, stirring the leaves where they once walked together. His throat tightens, his eyes sting with tears he doesn't fight. His knees threaten to buckle under the weight of it all. He could turn away, flee the clearing, bury the pain in the dark, but he doesn't. Stoicism doesn't ask him to pretend it doesn't hurt, doesn't demand he dry his eyes and force a smile. It asks him to see it true, to feel it whole. Loss is part of the deal, the price of loving, of living, of daring to hold anything close. Seneca said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life when the whole of it ends?" The man kneels, touches the ground where they once sat, feels the ache roll through him like a river breaking its banks. But he breathes, slow and ragged. He accepts, not with coldness, not with resignation, but with courage, with a nod to what was and what still is. Loss tests us like nothing else, strips us to the bone, leaves us naked against the wind. Imagine a widow folding clothes that still smell of him, her hands shaking as the silence deafens her home. She could break, many would, and no one would blame her. But she recalls Epictetus. What need is there to be disturbed by what is not in our power? She folds on, not because she's whole, not because the pain's gone, but because she's still here, still breathing, still capable of this small act. The Stoic doesn't deny the grief. He honors it by living through it, by letting it carve him deeper rather than shatter him. Our man rises, the clearing behind him now, the path ahead dim but open. Loss marks him. His eyes carry it, his steps feel it, but it doesn't end him. He walks with it, not against it, and finds a strange peace in the carrying, a quiet strength in the space it leaves. Shame creeps in next, a shadow that doesn't roar but slinks, a stain we feel more than see. It's the flush of heat when you remember a mistake, the twist in your gut when you've fallen short, the eyes you can't meet because they might see the truth. Our man feels it now, stumbling into a hollow where the tree's thin, the lantern catching the glint of old scars on the bark, marks he left once, in a moment of weakness, a time he lashed out or ran when he should have stayed. Shame whisper he's less for it, that the past defines him, that he's a fraud wearing a mask of strength. It's a quiet poison, seeping into the cracks, making every step feel like a lie. Stoicism meets shame with a gentle hand, not a whip. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be satisfied with success in even the smallest matter, and think that even such a result is no trifle." The man stops, sets the lantern down, runs his fingers over those scars. He could hide from them, pretend they're not his, but they are. Shame wants him to drown in it. Stoicism asks him to own it. He can't undo the past, can't erase the marks, but he can choose what they mean. Were they failure, or were they lessons? Seneca said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." The man sees it now, not as a stain, but as a map, a record of where he's been, what he's survived. Imagine a young man who faltered in front of a crowd, words tangling, face burning as laughter rose. Shame pinned him there, replaying it night after night. But he reads Epictetus. Men are disturbed not by things but by the views they take of them. He faltered. Yes. But he spoke. He tried. Shame fades when he claims it. When he says, I did that, and I'm still here. Our man in the forest lifts the lantern, walks past the hollow, the scars behind him now. Shame lingers, but it's lighter, a thread in the tapestry, not the whole cloth. The Stoic doesn't erase it. He weaves it into something stronger, something human. Despair is the final shadow, the deepest wood, where the light seems to die. It's the moment you stop walking, when the path feels pointless, when the lantern gutters and you wonder why you bothered to light it. Our man feels it now, the forest endless around him, his legs leaden, his chest hollow. He's fought fear, doubt, anger, loss, shame. Yet here he is, still wandering, still aching, no end in sight. Despair tells him it's over, that the struggle's won, that he should sit and let the dark take him. It's not loud, it's empty, a void that swallows sound and hope alike. Stoicism doesn't flinch from despair. It stares into it, finds its edges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." The man sinks to the ground, the lantern beside him. Its flame a frail flicker. He could give up. Despair begs him to, but he thinks instead. The forest hasn't changed. His mind has. He can't see the end, can't know if there's a dawn, but he can see this moment, this breath, this choice. Seneca said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." He picks up the lantern, stands though his body protests, walks though his soul is weary. Despair doesn't lift. It walks with him, but it doesn't lead. Imagine a mother who's lost everything, home, health, hope, sitting in the wreckage, despair a shroud. She could stay there and no one would judge. But she recalls Epictetus. Circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. She rises, not because it's easy, not because she believes yet, but because she can, because one step is still hers to take. The Stoic doesn't banish despair. He outlasts it, proves it wrong with every breath. Our man keeps going, the forest still dark, but the act of walking a light of its own. These battles, fear, doubt, anger, loss, shame, despair, aren't the end of the path. They're the path itself, the wood we all must walk. Stoicism doesn't promise victory as the world sells it. No golden crown, no painless days, no fairy tale dawn. It offers something harder, truer, mastery. Not of the forest, not of the shadows, but of ourselves. The man doesn't emerge unbroken. His knee throbs, his hands shake, his heart carries its cuts. But he emerges whole, a man who's faced the dark and found it can't claim him. He's asked again and again, "What can I do?" and answered with his steps, his breath, his will. Think of your own woods, your own unseen wars, the fear that wakes you, the doubt that stalls you, the anger that blinds you, the loss that hollows you, the shame that stings, the despair that beckons. They're there, real as the trees, sharp as the wind, heavy as the night. But so are you, realer, sharper, stronger if you choose it. Stoicism hands you no map, no shortcut, just a light, faint but yours, a flame you feed with every choice to keep going. Fear comes. Feel it, name it, step past it. Doubt whispers, hear it, choose anyway. Move on. Anger flares, let it burn, let it fade. Walk away. Loss weighs, carry it, honor it, keep living. Shame stings. Own it. Learn from it. Rise above. Despair calls. Face it, defy it, outlast it. Our man reaches the forest's edge now, the trees parting to reveal a sky streaked with stars, a vastness that humbles and lifts. He's tired, bone weary, soul sore, every muscle crying for rest. But he's here, alive, present. The battles haven't ended. They've shaped him, carved him into something new, something enduring. He stands, not triumphant in the loud way, but steady, the lantern still lit in his hand, its glow a quiet testament. Stoicism doesn't ask him to forget the woods, to pretend the shadows never loomed. It asks him to remember he walked through them, that he carried the light and made it to the edge. And so can you. The path is yours, the shadows too, but the light is what you make it, what you choose it to be. Take it, hold it high, walk on.